and welcome to the morning ritual for guitar growth. I'm Jason. I will be your host for today. If you wouldn't mind giving me just one moment, I've got to share this link to this live stream with my pop, and we'll see if we can get that done. Let's see what we got here. This shouldn't take long at all. And it looks like, hey, there it is right there. Let's go ahead and share this with him just really briefly. All right. He too is a guitar player and he will enjoy this. Let's see what happens. All right. And without further ado, let's get the old metronome going. The metronome is essential for the work that we do. Whether you enjoy the metronome or not, we will learn to love it. Another thing that we'll also learn to love, we will learn to love the tuning fork. Oh yes, it's a rare beauty. And when not tamed, this is well beyond green broke. You know, this is it's sort of a wild, you should see it in its wild habitat. Just a wild beast. Here we go. All right. The A tuning fork is something that we use to tune the guitar. You know, we tune to, it's called concert pitch. So it's, you know, you can be a bedroom guitar player and play all by yourself in your own environment, around a campfire by yourself, or around, and you know, in your bedroom by yourself, or living room, kitchen, anywhere by yourself, the train station. But as soon as we have two musicians playing together, it's important that we both tune to the same frequency, which in this case, the global standard for concert tuning is A at 440 cycles per second. So that's exactly what this is. This is featured in this video every morning because I use this. I don't tune with a mechanical tuner in the mornings. I tune with the tuning fork. So I might practice my ears. Also, one thing I would recommend, if you have one of these, an A at 440 cycles a second, sounds like this. It's a bad boy. Oh yeah. If you have this, it's a good idea to put it in your teeth several times a day so we vibrate our cranium. Thus we can remember what A 440 feels like too. It's a really great gift to, you know, for a musician friend or stocking stuffer. The metronome is also featured in this video. You could get this guitar, the metronome, the tuning fork, and this capo, and the Martin phosphor bronze guitar strings. All are linked purchases. So if you do need any of those items, you can always get those right through this video. But what we're here for is something else. We're here for warming up with the guitar and just taking it easy with the guitar. Just a simple start. Some of us like to use the, you know, fret 5, this open string area, fret 5, fret 5, fret 5, fret 4, fret 5. There we go. perfect to begin. Let's start out with the old plectrum. I don't have, these are 𝗿𝗏𝗃s, you know, but we'll go ahead and start with fingers 3 and 4 on frets 10 and 12, and you can see right here, the proof is in the pudding. This is not tonal. It's very much just a simple exercise. And for those of you who think this might be fast, or if it's not fast enough, you feel free to do this at your own tempo, at your own leisure. The important thing is that we do this with a straight, strong back and strong core, and that we also find ourselves breathing. Breathing is key to many things in life. For example, staying alive, that's a pretty good benefit. But we're moving on quickly to fingers 2 and 3. Still working that stretch, that finger 2 and 3 stretch. Just working down the fretboard, slowly widening our stretch, and slowly but surely becoming more at peace with the guitar fretboard. I don't know if you've been here, if you're just tuning in, this is a really great time to be tuning in, because I was just about to share what it is I'm doing here. So I'm here every weekday morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time, basically warming up with the guitar, but I've never seen anybody, I've never really understood the calculation of what happens when we sit down with the guitar for 5 days a week. I'm here 5 days a week for an entire year. So I'm calculating that at about 260 hours. So fingers 1 and 2 on 10 and 12 will keep moving while I talk. 2, ready, go. And I really wanted to have a solid understanding of what it means to play for 260 hours, number 1, and find yourself seated as a guitar practitioner every weekday morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And what happens? What kind of growth happens? What kind of growth happens when you're just seated for 260 hours over the year? So I'm going to look back at the very first video that I did here, doing the morning ritual for morning ritual for guitar growth is what I've dubbed this as, and I'm going to look at the first video, review the first video, and then look again at the last video of this year of 2025. 1 and 2, fingers 2 and 4, and 9 and 12, frets, go. Then what I'm going to do is try to understand what it looks like. If there are any observable differences in tone, how am I addressing the guitar? Are there observable differences or improvements, hopefully improvements in my technique? I'm hoping for major improvements in my attitude toward the world I live in. Not that it's a horrible attitude, but I think guitar, my hypothesis is that there will be general improvements all around the house, right? I think that's the case. And it doesn't matter if I'm practicing shred, jazz, classical, you know, 𝗵𝗁. I have a couple 𝗵𝗁 videos on my, I think 1 or 2 maybe videos where I transcribed or arranged the music for guitar on this channel. So you could go ahead and search those 𝗵𝗁. It'd be kind of fun to go look back at that. I think they're older videos, so you'll see a younger Jason experiencing his naivete. Right, so fingers 1 and 3 on 9 and 12. Go. Yeah. After this year goes by, this cycle of 2025, to me, I don't know if you've seen it, but the Chinese zodiac says this is the year of the guitar, right? Doesn't it? I think it does. It's certainly the year of the guitar for me. And the plan is to be here every weekday morning, you know. Good Lord willing. Good Lord willing. How about you? Have you set your intention yet for today's guitar warm-up? I can feel the guitar neck. This is a really great, this is one of the benefits of sitting down with the guitar early in the morning, because I haven't barely had a bowl of cereal, I barely had a bowl of yogurt, my power bowl, or my, you know, barely had a cup of tea in me, and I'm sitting with the guitar. This is the first, really, that other than, you know, hugging and kissing the wife, this is the first thing that I run, you know, I get to, and for that, I have to say I'm thankful. So 1 E ended 2 on 7 and 12, go. I gotta admit, I'm more thankful for a beautiful person that I call my wife, and gotta admit that's a real blessing in my life. Some business with a guy. His name was I'll just call him Mr. K. And every time I would go over to his house, you know, to pay the piper, he would be out. This old timer, you know, he'd be out in his backyard with this little, it looked like a golf wedge, you know what I mean, or a golf driver or whatever, but instead of a golf head on the club, it was like a little serrated blade that was sort of like run, when you hold it, it would run parallel with the ground. And he's out there sort of like whacking his tall grass down. And I thought, Mr. K, what are you doing? Can't you just pay somebody to do this? And he turns around, looks at me, and he starts laughing. And he says, Jason, stick with your warm-ups. No, I'm just kidding. He fingers 2, 3, and 4 on 10, 11, and 12. Go. He said, Jason, why would I pay somebody to do this for me when I love to get out here and do this for my own personal health and wellness and exercise? And I thought, you know, that's a great point. All right, so you're driving a little piece of junk, a little pickup truck around town. You could drive you know, any vehicle, any multiple vehicles you want in life. Why are you driving your little pickup, your little beat up truck around, your little beater? And just, you know, I don't think there was a whole lot of need to experience the flash or expose the flash, you know what I mean? It's and for that, I'm thankful for all of those lessons that he transferred to me in his lifetime, and to others, I'm sure. But the most important thing I absorbed from Mr. K, the most important thing is, he said, Jason, I want you to know that I couldn't have done anything that I did in my life if I didn't have a good wife, a beautiful wife. And he said, if you look hard enough, Jason, behind, all All right, fingers 1 and 2 and 3 on 10, 11, 12. He said, if you look hard enough, it doesn't take you very long to figure out that behind every great man is an even better woman. I thought, wow, Mr. K, that's a pretty bold statement. But I do believe that there's a sizable, he was blessed in his life. And I've been blessed in my life, and I hope that you too are blessed in your life. Once in a while, what I like to do is, you've seen me do these little dances on the string set here. Well, I'm just working between fingers, you know, ascending one string and then descending the next string, ascending and descending. So I'm doing these little finger roll exercise patterns that sort of help to free up the break us from the monotony of just kind of doing the same old. Plus, this gives us access to other techniques that we're going to need along the way. So it's not that we want to absorb it all at once. I mean, we do want to get it all at once, but it's so difficult through stretch time. So I'll talk while I stretch. Here we go. Oh man, I really hope you're enjoying your week, your guitar week. Straight elbows, 4 beats, or 16 clicks. And that is essentially measure 4, 2, 3, 4. That translates nicely into 4 bars. And I'm always counting. Counting is super important, especially for guitar players. And you know, I guess it's important for any musician, really, just to get used to counting. So 1 E and a 2 E and a T E and a 4, or 1 2 3 dun ding ding dun bung ding down bung, or counting 5s. Or 6. Or 7s. So it's real, I'm getting off there a little bit, but it's really important. It's not to be overlooked, you know. Counting is super fun too. And maybe it just starts out with some tapping. And if you have your acoustic guitar, like, you know, on your lap, like what I'm doing, I'm going to show you a little technique that's really fun, that's really easy, and it's a low barrier for entry, right? While we have the guitar down here, I always have another table right here. Listen, there it is. It's right there. And look at how long my arm is. Wow, this lens is just crazy. Does some really crazy distortions to your body. But the tapping is super simple. So I think maybe we'll get it with the thumb, or maybe the palm, or something, like we're playing the conga or the bongo or something like that, or the cajones, right? So we've got the 1. I'm trying like the Dickens to get on that click. And if I do this just right, you shouldn't be able to observe the click, right? Here I am. You can hear the click. My hand's way off of this, right? I got it 2 times in a row. Oh. Oh. you can see right away that you do get it, but you can see right away that even a microscopic sort of like offset, you can observe that we're not exactly right on. And quickly, as we really start to really get, we want to do this with both hands too, both limbs. Oh, there, I got it. Finally, out of all of those clicks, I only got one, right? Where the click actually disappeared and was absorbed in conjunction with that slap. So the left hand is definitely, I have to get to exactly that point in space and time at exactly the same time as that click, and that constitutes a lot of physical movement. A lot of things have to translate from here to here in order to make that happen. So the metronome is super, super important, and you know, most of us don't care. Most of us overlook it. It's an annoying, it's a nuisance, you know. But it's really there for, it's a treat for you. It's a treat for everybody who uses the metronome. Well, welcome back. We're using fingers 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 again. So now, we're just working 4 attacks per beat on 9, 10, 11, and 12. Let's start right here. You know what to do. 9, 10, 11, and 12. Down, up, down, up. And again, if this is too fast, I would just recommend you don't need to speed along with me. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, and then eventually you'll just catch up. It just works that way. One day you'll be able to play 4 attacks per beat at 60 beats on the metronome. And you will be amazed by your progress, and one day it will just click. The same way that we notice when all of a sudden we're just kind of on autopilot, and then we blink and we have that realization that 5 years just passed. Whoa, what happened? This warm-up is an attempt to remain sort of cognizant to the fact that we want to keep you know, sort of aware of every single note, of every single breath, of every single muscular movement in both arms or both or all limbs at once. Is this stream designed to be super flashy? Well, you take one look at me and you realize, oh yeah, this is Mr. Flash right here. Yeah, super flash, you know, hyper flash, hypo flash maybe. But it's really about just showing up. This is literally about just showing up and being with the guitar and being present and experiencing joyfulness every single note that we play. Yeah. And we are shooting for perfection. Good. We'll start with 1, 2, 3, 4 again, but this time we'll stretch finger 1 on up to fret 13. 1, E, and 2. You know what to do. So if you stick around for the remainder of this session, what we have coming up, we have just a brief study in triadic harmony, whereas we look through the lens of a diminished triad. Yeah, so that's coming up in that will be probably the last 10 or 15 minutes, the last 15 or 10 minutes of this session. And we'll break it down. We don't need to worry too much about it. We'll go ahead and break it down slowly and give ourselves a few exercises so that we can, you know, understand what it is we're playing and easily absorb it and add it into our own warm-ups, our own playing, our own sort of, I guess what we do, if we do this kind of thing enough, we can kind of claim ownership over the technique. And like anything else, like a gun stock, you know, it's a perishable thing, right? So we need to care for it, oil it, clean it. You know, we do need to do all of those things. If you take your fly rod down to the coast and fish in salt water, clean it when you're done, right? Otherwise, there might be some problems. So it's really important. The maintenance of the perishable item is super important. So all right, so let's jump into fingers 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 again. This time we're stretching the first finger back to fret number 8. 1 E and 2. You know what to do. Here we go. And we'll start with just doing the regular stuff. We'll go ahead and get a little bit of that first finger and fourth finger roll in the mix. It's a little harder to keep, I'm noticing it's a little harder to keep my second, third, and fourth fingers close to the string. I feel like they want to be running around, sort of swinging the cat o' nine tails everywhere. You know, just I don't know. It does require a lot of pre-work, you know, pre-workout to keep these fingers from just kind of going way off. You know, I take these fingers, sometimes you'll see like newer guitar players, and we're all guilty of this at some point in our lives, the fingers go way out here. So it takes me, you know, a whole bunch of time to get back to the string, back to the fretboard. And with that time and that distance, it removes speed capabilities, and it also removes accuracy. So this is something I try to really focus on, is keeping my fingers really close to the fretboard, you know, within 1/4 of an inch, to use imperial standards, or 3 millimeters from 3 or 4 millimeters maybe from the top of the, you know, the surface of the string. So this is super important. And it's more challenging when we start doing the finger rolls. The fourth finger, that fourth finger just feels like it needs to go elsewhere. You can look at my fourth finger right before it plays, it just kind of decides on its own to just go way up here for some reason, you know. So if we know about those issues, then we can correct those issues, right? So that's the good news. We'll go ahead and use fingers 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 on the top 4 strings and use this diagonal pattern. And I'll explain what this pattern is. It's just a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we change that, we invert that, and then we slide it down 1 position. Then we move all the way down to position 1, switch to the 4 middle strings, using the alternate picking sequencing for the picking hand. We find our way back up to the top of the guitar neck. Then we migrate to the bottom string set, the 4-string grouping, so string grouping number 3. So if you were a fan of 𝗎𝗪𝗏𝗃 or other people like him, I don't know if you can still get the Van Epps method or not. It seems like I looked around for it and it's not really available. The book's like worth $300 now, I think, something like that, some stupid number. But I have the original book, and what he likes to do, the great Mr. Van Epps. So we'd break the guitar down into string groupings, right? So string groups are important in order to sort of categorize, systematize, provide systems upon which that we can build our basis of understanding for the guitar. So the top 4 strings are group 1. These are contiguous strings, so they're next door to one another. Then the 4 middle strings, and also another group of 4 middle strings, contiguous strings. And then the bottom 4 strings, so I'd call this string group number 1, string group number 2, string group number 3. And that's all we have for 4-string groups on the guitar where they're contiguous. Now, non-contiguous groupings would be like if we had, let's say we have 4 strings, but they're not all together. Let's say, for example, the thumb skips down to the A string. That string grouping, if we move that around, there are only 2 string groups available here. So string group 1, string group 2. So we could theoretically, so since we've been working a 4-string exercise, we don't really need to conform. You know, I don't know about you, but I am not a conformist. By nature, I am not wired to conform for some reason. And maybe that's a good thing, maybe so, maybe not. But it's something that we can break away from, you know when to conform and when not to. But we have an option here to conform to a new shape. So let's just run that idea. So for example, I can, instead of using fingers 1, 2, 3, 4 on the top 4 strings, this is very exciting because now we're using 1, 2, 3, 4, but we have the string 5, 3, 2, and 1, and this is what it's an entirely different program to skip a string in this, whereas before we were not skipping a string. When we add a string skip into this, this is totally different for our picking hands, both hands. So I'm still trying to pick the D string, right? So I have to be very careful about I want to reprogram my limbs, both of my limbs, to just kind of get that string skip in there. So it's okay to slow things down if we want to, Now, since we have that 4-string group where we were using the string 5, 3, 2, and 1, we only have 2 of those string groups available on the guitar. So the next one would be 6, 4, 3, and 2. Let's take a look at that. Okay, where were we? All right, so that we did those two strings. Now what we need to do is take a look, because we're doing that. I moved from the A string, so we're 5, 3, 2, and 1. Now what I'll do is move all of these fingers down and then use that string skip between the G and high E string. So we'll get that fourth finger will be the one doing the string skipping. And we're still, if we follow the 𝗺𝗲𝗴𝗶 method where we use string groups, you can see that right here, I'll be, let's see, we have the string, we're skipping the B string, and then we only have 2 of those string groups available on the guitar. Really, really important stuff to sort of observe. Let's try it together. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. Yeah, it works out pretty well. I mean, it's fairly, you know, fairly comfortable, fairly known. It's not like we're moving completely into the unknown. Oh, did I tell you we're going to start turning on the live chat again next week? So Monday, get ready, because the water is coming under the dam. Good. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at one other pattern. You know, we could start doing, I guess if we're doing that already, we can use fingers 1 and 2, skip the G string, and use 3 and 4. So we put the string skip in the middle of these 2 middle fingers, right? So 9 on the D string, 9 on the A string, 10 on the D, skip the G, 11 on the B, and 12 on the high E string. Let's do that slower. Sounds just like a complete disaster. But that's okay, because we get familiar with it, you know. It's important that we don't iron wrinkles into the shirt. You know what I mean? So you heard me slow it down so we could sort of get an understanding of it. Sometimes we might have to slow it down for days or weeks in order to get it. Do you know what I mean? So feel free to take the time, and if you're not taking the time, you're only cheating yourself anyway. Do you know what I mean? So it's really important. Enjoy the thing that we do. Love the thing that we do. Be joyful in the moment. It's a little more challenging to skip the string in the middle of this sequence. Got to admit. Good. think we're headed back to minor pentatonicism, and then we have about 5 more minutes or so, something like that, before we really start working on the next step, the minor, or the diminished arpeggio, the 6-string arpeggio. So stick around for that. But let's go ahead and just play in some pentatonic shapes around the guitar neck. And this is the shape that we all learn. I think most of us learn this first, right? So imagine learning how to climb down a ladder before learning how to climb up a ladder. Yeah, that's the way I imagine us learning something other than this first. I think this is just such a great, it's a swell pattern to know on the guitar. It really is, it's just it's a beautifully symmetrical, and it gives our first finger, which is the dominant finger in most left hands or fret hands of guitar players or guitar practitioners around the world. So it gives that first finger the impression or the illusion of control, right? Then we quickly take it away by using the next pattern, the next shape, the next minor pentatonic shape in the pentatonic palace. Oh, I just realized that maybe some of you have been emailing an incorrect email address. So if you want a copy of the free PDF binder delineating what's going on with the pentatonic palace, you could email me at 𝘁𝘁. It's 𝘁𝘁, G-R-O-W. Not, I think I've been saying growth, but somehow they come through anyway. Maybe it's a catch-all. But if you want this particular information, it's 𝘁𝘁, G-R-O-W, 𝘁𝘁 at jasoncareyguitar.com, or you can just visit like Kevin does. We saw something from Kevin come through yesterday. Always nice to see Kevin. Kevin's one of the channel moderators. You'll see him again next week as we start turning on that banger of a live chat. We're going to give it another shot, and I think we're all going to enjoy the benefit from it. So that, I think, for me, is cause for celebration. So you'll see Kevin around next week with his blue wrench and stuff. And maybe we'll have some company from 𝗿𝗵𝘁'𝗀𝗏 too. The chief cook and bottle washers are going to be on live chat next week. So be sure to come and say hi and all that stuff. All right. Anyway, pattern number 2 for the pentatonic system is this one. We'll start with 2-4-1-4-1-4, 1-3-2-4-2-4. Okay, that's it. 1 E and 2. There it is. Yeah, and it's just basically like the 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1. All of me, why not take all of me? Can't you see I'm no good without you? Take my lips, I'll never use them. Something about blah blah blah. And your goodbyes fills me with eyes that cry. How could I go on day without? Something like that. But it's that major pentatonic sound. All the same notes that we would play typically from the minor pentatonic. So it's that same collection of tones, but it just feels so different, I got sunshine on a cloudy day. Cloudy day. So it's that major pentatonic. We're going through that now. 2 E and a T E and a 4 E and a. And we may speed this up so we can get to everything. But stick around because the diminished triad sequence is coming right up. It's coming up shortly in the next couple of minutes. And you don't want to miss this because we've been building on this since the beginning of the week. We started with major triads and then minor triads, and today we have the third diatonic triad type is the diminished triad. So we'll be able to complete our mission, and I love completing our missions. I'll tell you what. And then what we do is we move from major, minor, and diminished triads, and we'll start plugging this all into the C major scale and having a diatonic experience with us all. So that'll be fun. Tomorrow and Friday will be just piecing it all together. But shape number 2 moves, of course, up to shape number 3. And we'll use that finger 1 to kick back. Okay, we'll start there. 1, 2, you know what to do. And we're just moving along just to get this all done, because we have a lot to cover still. Don't forget to breathe. All right, let's start with the next shape. After that, we're moving up to this one. You know, sort of like the minor set, the A minor 7 version. 1, 2, you know what to do. I'm starting with upstrokes too. It's important to upstrokes have feelings too, you know. And then the final shape is 2/4. This one. 2/4, 2/4, 1/4, 1/4, 2/4, 2/4. So we have 1/4, 1/4, 2/4, 2/4, 4/2, 4/2, 2/4, 4/1, 4/2, 4/2, 2/4, 2/4, 1. You know, so it's a really nice symmetrical shape. And we're going to continue right along. What if we did only like hammer-ons and pull-ups? There it is. It gets a little crunchy in the left hand, but let's go ahead and stretch that out real quick. We'll stretch that out here, and then we'll start working, when we come back from the stretch, we'll start working on the, let's start working on the next thing, which is the diminished triad. Yeah, and we can all jump for joy on this one. I think if you haven't yet double tapped the screen, that's certainly a cool thing to do. Certainly appreciate that, and certainly appreciate you being here watching with us. Certainly appreciate you being here. I'm here every weekday morning at 7:30 a.m. In case you want to, in case you'd like to warm up on your guitar, you're more than welcome to join us. And for an hour, it's a 1 hour warm-up session. And right now, we're transitioning from the warm-up state of mind to the practice state of mind, where we start to work on new things, some new things. So we start with a minor triad in the bottom, a minor third, and then another minor third on top of it. So if we start here on C, let's start on C, and then I move up a minor third to E flat, and then up another minor third from E flat to G flat. Then we have the entire 6-string pattern. So we have frets, let's see, 8 on the low E string. I'll give you a second to get there. We should be walking through this. Fret 11 on the low E string, fret number 9 on the A string, and fret number 10 on the D string. That's the first one lower octave of this pattern. Then we're moving from that 10 up to the flat 3 on fret 8, up to the 11 on fret the G string, and then so the flat 3, flat 5, root note, skip on up to the high E string. And then of course we can grab all of the notes available to us from that triad, that diminished triad or diminished triad. In that position, we can grab all of those notes. This is another really great area so that I can really start to nurture what's going on here with my pinky. So I prefer to have my pinky not fly out just fly out and away from the string set. So what I like to do is keep my pinky as close to the string set as possible. Fingers 1 and flat 3, and then 2. And then you can see the 4th finger starting to sneak away here. So we want to keep that 4th finger sort of on a leash, just to keep it next to the, of course you don't have to, but I find if I start to want to play quickly or fast, if I don't observe that one principle, that one rule, it's harder to get my pinky in place if it's from way out here. It just takes me all that much more time to get it all the way back to the fretboard. So we'll try to keep the fingers as close to the fretboard as possible. So what I'm going to do is work us through what we have coming up tomorrow. Monday we worked through the major triad. Tuesday we worked through the minor triad. Tuesday, I guess, being yesterday. That was Tuesday, yesterday. Boy, these these have been long days. Yeah, there were a couple long days in there for me. So we're moving from the major triad down to Little Red Riding Hood. So anyway, it's that sort of tonality. So we have the major triads now under our belts. Now we have the minor triads under our belts. And then we have the major triads. So the major triads can start all the way down here on F. The 5 chord of C is the G. The 6 minor chord is A minor. We're completely outlining each one of these arpeggios to the tune of when we reach the 7th degree of the scale, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then back to Do or C, which is the tonic of the C chord, C major scale. The 7 is the diminished triad. 7, diminished 7th. So this is where this fits right here. We are arpeggiating the 5 chord, the 4 chord. The 6 chord, the 6 minor chord, and the 7 diminished 7, which is what we did today. Then what we do tomorrow is assemble this back into that's where we are today. So I hope if you have any questions, if you do have questions about what's going on, you can always email. Well, number one, you can drop a comment under this video. You can watch the video later on, and it's as you know, on demand. And then under the live tab on the channel here, you can go sort of like look at the last 10 minutes of the video and take a look at this triadic study. And if you find that you have questions, you could always comment in the comment section of the video. That way, if you do have a question, others can look at it and wonder and learn from it. So don't hesitate to do that. We all love that. It's a benefit to the community for sure. If you have a technical question you'd like to ask, you can also email me at @jasoncareyguitar.com, grow. So that's available, and maybe we'll see you again on the internet. Like I said, I'm here every weekday morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time for the entire year of 2025, good Lord willing, and I'll see you again tomorrow. And I hope you have a beautiful day today, a wonderful day. Until we meet again. Happy picking, friend.